welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher.
So let's jump right into it.
We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. What is going on, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and thank you guys for joining me today for this impromptu live stream. If you guys don't already know, I gave this 4,000 subscriber giveaway out last week, and the person never claimed it, so we're going to do another one here today and hopefully give this sucker away. Thank you for joining me here on a lazy Sunday. It's 12:30 Eastern right now on the East Coast, and man, I got to tell you, my allergies are freaking killing me. It was like 55 degrees yesterday and going back to cold today. So I'm having a little bit of trouble breathing today, but we're rolling on regardless. Just bear with me, I promise. So today I have a ton of stuff planned for you guys. Obviously, we're going to give away this 4,000 sub giveaway. If you guys don't remember, here, let's go big here and show you guys. Hopefully you guys remember what it was, but it is this awesome Thanos diorama. This thing is freaking beautiful. I love this statue. So one lucky person, one lucky subscriber has already been chosen. Like I said, they didn't claim their prize. It was going to the number 2 person when I did that run. So we're going to announce that here today. But I also have a million other things I want to share with you guys as well. All right, let's put that down there. First, I want to catch up on the chat, say a little. Everybody in here is hanging with me today. Not that many yet, but Punisher SX, what is going on? You are first today. Thank you for joining me. Raja RGA, thank you again as well. Retro Attic Man Cave, you guys were on with me last week. Thank you for jumping on. Man, 4:30 p.m. in the UK. I appreciate it here. And of course, I'm Brooklyn born 718. What is going on? I always see you commenting on my videos, so good to have you today in the chat. And of course, as people come in, we'll say hi to a few other people as well. But like you said, we're here to give away that 4,000 sub Thanos diorama to one lucky sub. Go over some few things that I have coming up here on the channel. Of course, talk everything comics with everybody out there in the community. So first thing I'm going to say is, anybody have anything going on today or comic related or this week that you want to talk about? Drop on comments in the chat. We'll talk about it. But I wanted to share a couple of things with you guys. I did it last week as well. Some stuff that's coming on the channel this week. So we'll start with that, get it out of the way. But first things first, tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern, that we have it, another episode of recent eBay comic book sales. I take a fresh new 6 books that were sold just past week, and I go over them for you guys here on the channel. I can't wait. There are some awesome books out there that we should be talking about, all right? Can't wait for you guys to see this one. There's some massive keys in this video. Of course, that is Monday, tomorrow. Now, Tuesday, I have something special for you guys, okay? It is an unboxing. Now, I have a bunch of stuff that came into the mail. I finally have one of the books back from CGC. I have a couple of books I bought off of some Instagram live sales as well, so I can't wait to show you guys that. That's Tuesday at 7 a.m. Eastern time, so look forward to that. And as usual, on Thursdays, we do the Hot 10 breakdown of the week. I can't wait to show you guys that as well. Hopefully, we get some new books. Last week, we had finally some good Silver Age keys, like Amazing Spider-Man number 50, Iron Man number 1, all great books that I think everybody in the community should own and are still undervalued in my opinion. So hopefully we get some new ones, not just modern stuff here as well. We'll say hello to a couple other people that joined us. Tom and T, hola buddy, what's going on? Nell Nesbethar, how are you, man? I haven't seen you in a bit. Oh, I love your avatar. You know I do, right? You know I do. James Vance, what's going on? Obviously a member of the channel. Appreciate you, James. If you guys don't know, memberships are now available for the channel. If interested, the Mighty level gets you, like I do a video every month or a couple of months and tells you what I'm looking to buy right now. And of course, every other membership gets early access to all my videos. Desired, what is going on? Nigel, thank you for showing in the chat, man. I know you're all over the place, traveling a lot, but thank you for checking in with me, man. Carnival Hands, how are you? Thanks for joining. There we go. I've always liked your channel because you cater to the common man. I am the common man myself. So again, thank you for joining me here today. From the Philippines, there you go. Raja, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate that. Travis, how are you, man? Toronto. Wow, a lot of international today. I love that. Thank you guys for joining me and sticking with me today. Like I said, we're doing a 4,000 sub giveaway. The guy who I gave it to, who won, never claimed this stuff, unfortunately, but we're going to give that away maybe in about 15 minutes. We'll start off. I don't want to just do it in case we get more people in on the chat, but let me show you. If you guys weren't on the chat last week and you haven't watched my videos recently, we're on to 5,000 and we're already at 4,200. So I can't thank you guys enough. Another 800. And I'm going to show you what I'm giving away for 5,000. All right. If you guys weren't on the chat here last week, we have an Iron Man #1. Yes, I know it's low grade. There's some tape on this thing, but it's still a nice, decent copy of an underage key. First Iron Man on his own solo title. And of course, the origin of Iron Man as well. So we're giving this sucker away to one lucky subscriber of the channel once we get to 5,000 subs, man. I can't wait to do that one. I found that book and I knew as soon as I saw it, I had to have it. And I was giving that sucker away to one of you guys or gals. So I'll take a sip of my coffee. And as always, it's a comic live chat. So if there's any questions you guys have or any books you're looking to get, I'll be happy to look up GPA prices, tell you what I think about certain books, stuff like that. We're always here for that stuff every time I do a live stream, okay? Trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to share before we get going. There's a bunch of stuff we're still going to go through. I want to talk about what's going on. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. You ready? So a few weeks back, we had the $500 challenge, right? That's over. The vote is over. And I want to congratulate Jason over at Omega Collects, who won the challenge. 53% for his Amazing Spider-Man number 39 and 40. If you guys don't know, we had a challenge for $500. Who could kind of get the best book going forward? And as it states right there, we had to look at rarity, investment potential, condition, demand or popularity, significance, or the reason for buying. So Jason had the ASM 39 and 40 that he got a combo for under 500. I had this Superman coloring book, the first ever, printed in 1940s. And of course, Errol had the copy of Fantastic Four, the great purple Silver Surfer cover. I forget which issue it is. I want to say it's 55. An awesome freaking cover. He had that in super high grade. So congratulations to Jason, buddy. You won. The people have spoken with 53% of the vote. You got the best deal. So what I want to do also is anybody who wants to come on the channel and challenge what Jason have, ASM 39 and 40, on something they bought recently in the past month or two for 500 or less that they think they got a better deal on. I'm opening up to everybody else. Contact me either through email. It's in my contact info description of each video, or you could DM me on Instagram if you have Instagram at the Mighty Comics _collectibles. So Jason, congratulations. Okay. Couple of people I want to say hello to, always on everything that I post, is Lee Nearin. What's going on, buddy? Thank you for joining you. Jade Cassie, Virginia. Awesome. Yeah, this challenge was awesome, man. I really appreciate that. It was a lot of fun. We talked about possibly doing like $1,000 challenge or a $1,500 challenge, but that would take a significant amount of time to find something that, you know, we can all jump at and say, for $1,500, what are we going to go and put our money towards that fit the category here. So we're contemplating on what's next for the challenge, but we don't want to go overboard because that one could take a little bit of a time. So thank you for everyone and congrats to Jason again. So, all right, we're going to wait 5 more minutes and then I'm going to announce who the winner is of the giveaway, the Thanos statue. At 12:45, we're going to announce who won. And like I said, I've already picked the winner. It's a second place winner that I ran the contest. I thought that was fair. Instead of me just running it again, let me just give it to the second place winner. So I hope that they reach out and they claim this thing because it's sitting here and I want it out of here because it's a big box for an awesome statue. So I can't wait. Anybody in New York, New Jersey area that's on the chat or watches this, you know, after the fact, next weekend, Saturday, I am going to be at King Con 4. So if you guys don't know, it is a small little con of just comic books put on by the Instagram and YouTube community. So everybody in my area, Erod, Very Gary, Pressable Defects, they'll be there. Otto was there last year. I'm not sure if he's going to be there this year, but hopefully he is. Zap Comics will be there. They're awesome. Absolute Comics is going to be there. They're also going to be over at Big Apple Con. So a lot of guys going to be there from the area. hopefully with some awesome books. The 2 times that I've went, I've gone to 2 of them a couple of years now running. I haven't been able to get there because of conflicts, but I will be there this Saturday. As soon as they open, I'll actually have about 30 minutes early access before I pay for the VIP ticket. So I'll get there at 11:30, and we're going to walk the showroom floor, and I'm going to be filming right from the get-go. So we're going to get in there. We're going to talk to whoever, say hello to everybody. And then, of course, later on that week, I'll post all the footage, and you'll see what I see, because that's my plan, is to just come in, cameras ablazing. We're not going to edit too much. So we're just going to go, and we're going to look at the wall books. We're going to maybe do some, diving in the bins, and you're going to get everybody's reaction to seeing me there live film. And of course, me say hello to these other comic book YouTubers and Instagrammers from the people in my area. So I am really looking forward to that. A couple years ago when I went, they had some awesome deals. I picked up a Silver Surfer 4, a raw copy, and an Amazing Spider-Man number 194 in super high grade. So I can't wait to see what they have this time. Hopefully it's gonna be awesome, which I assume it's going to be. But all right, we're not gonna wait. All right, we're gonna go, and we're gonna share who the 4,000 sub giveaway is. You guys ready? Not waiting anymore. We're here to say, finally, Bud, I know who you are because you've commented on some of my videos before. So you are the winner of the Thanos 4,000 subscriber giveaway. You ready? Here it is. Jared Smith with a nice Joker killing joke background. You are the winner of the 4,000 sub Thanos diorama giveaway. You have to contact me via my email, who, like I said before, is in the description of every video, my contact info. You can reach out to me at mightycomics_collectibles on Instagram. If you have Instagram, this way I can get your info and mail you this sucker out. This thing is awesome, okay? I'll show it to you guys again, this Thanos diorama. Just an awesome Infinity War Thanos. And that to me was the better movie out of Avengers 1 and 2, basically, right? The second part, Endgame, was great, but I think Infinity War is the better movie. But this thing is absolutely beautiful. I'll show you the back. Look at that. You cannot beat this thing. So congratulations, Jared Smith. You are the lucky winner of this thing. Of course, you're the second winner because the first guy never picked it up. But either way, it is yours. Contact me via email or Instagram, please. I can send this thing out to you. But congratulations, Jared Smith. All right. Let's get caught up on the chat. See if anybody else is here. North Carolina went home in round 1. Tom, I got you ready, Tom. Adam Burkhart, North Carolina. What is going on, man? Thank you for joining us today. Anybody else I see? I think that's about it for new that I see. But either way, guys, an awesome giveaway. And I can't wait to give away the Iron Man 1, man. This is all about you guys. When the higher subscribers we get, I plan on making the prizes bigger every 1,000. And I told you every 1,000 from here on out, that's what we're going to do till we get to 10,000. And then we'll figure something out. And I'm also going to do membership. Whoever's a member of the channel, you'll also have your own private giveaways as well. So keep that in mind. So the guys who are out there and gals who are members of the channel, you guys are going to have your own special giveaway as well. So like I said, I'm here to take questions from anybody. Any comic questions, what you guys are collecting, shoot them out to me, because I always like having conversation with you guys and seeing what everybody's out there is looking for right now in the YouTube and the comic book community. Okay. But while we're waiting for that, let me throw up some other screen shares that I have here that I wanted to share with you guys. As always, merch is still available. We still have the hats over at the website, mightycollects.com, for $20 each. They're awesome. You guys can see they really fit well. They're great for $20 plus. I think it's $8 shipping. We have that there. T-shirts as well. Same logo, Mighty Comics and Collectibles. Same thing, $20. Totally worth it. For those of you who have them out there, they're ultra comfortable. So Carnival Hand says, I've saved $1,000. I'm deciding between one of these books, Batman 251, ASM 100, or ASM 194. We'll hold for at least 10 years. Thoughts? So this is a great question. All 3 books are awesome. Okay. If I had to rank them, it really depends on you're a Batman fan or a Spider-Man fan, because that's really the key here. Batman 251 is an awesome cover. One of the best. In fact, I think the best Neil Adams cover. ASM 194 is a soft spot for me because I love Black Cat. I would say I would go with either of those two. ASM 100, while being a nice book, Probably don't want to spend too much money on that book. It's, again, a great key. Awesome. We should have in the collection, but I'm going with a 194, a Batman 251. And it all depends on whether you're more of a Batman fan or a Spider-Man fan. I would lean towards ASM 194 because you guys know more of a Spidey fan than Batman, but I have a 251 in the collection. Okay. So I have both. So if you can get both because that's the answer. But if I had to pick one, I think Batman 251 is probably more popular because there are a lot of Batman fans out there and a lot of Spidey fans too. But 194 is the first appearance of the Black Cat. Maybe other people are not as into the Black Cat as I am. So I think either of those you're doing 100% fine. Again, I want to own ASM 100, and I do, but I don't feel the need to go out and get that book like right away. You can always get it. 251 is hot right now, and ASM 194 has dropped. Okay, it has dropped a lot. So if you're willing to hold on, either one is fine. Dr. Sean, my man, what is up? Thank you for joining me again. Did you end up bidding on the Action One and Comic Connect? So yes, I did. Okay, great story. So if you don't know, we had that Comic Connect had an Action One. It was missing the centerfold was a color copy, and the cover, believe it or not, was a copy, but they had original parts that were added to the color copy cover. So they're like Superman holding the car in Action One. That was actually the actual piece from Action One, and they cut out that piece and put it on the cover, the color copy. So it was awesome. Other parts as well. So yes, I did bid. That book was $47,000. Okay, it was $47,000 with 30 seconds left. Okay, I put my bid in at 50 something with 30 seconds left. So Comic Connect, they restart the clock every time there's a new high bid. So restarted at 3 minutes left, and it kept going up. And finally, I maxed out at what I was willing to pay, and ended up selling for I think 110,000 with the buyer's premium, which is a nice chunk of change. 110,000 for an Action One, I think still is a great, even though it's an NG and there are missing pieces. I think there's 42 Action Comics ones graded by CGC. So one of 42 people now own this book. But yes, I did bid, but I was outbid and it hit my max, and that was it. There's nothing I could do. I can't come up with more money on that. But yes, I wish it would have stopped at 47 and I would have had it at like 55 because I think that was my max bid. But it just kept going and going and going. And, to each his own. But I know somebody got a great deal on that book. Kenneth Bird, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for joining the channel again. You're always on here, and I really appreciate it. So Retro Addict, Man Cave CD, go ASM 129. He loves the Black Cat as well, but I think either one of them are great buys. James, what's going on? What's your opinion on the Golden Age cartoon comics like Looney Tunes and Casper? So again, I'm not too sure how readily available some of these books are, so I'll say that. If there are low copies out there on a CGC Census, then I think they're worth owning, but I would flock to the first appearance. If I could get the first appearance of these characters that are out there, I would always flock to that because I think they're more desirable. That's just my opinion. Outside of first appearances or maybe like a classic cover, which I don't know if there are any in the Golden Age for these types of books, that's what I would go to as well. So if that's your thing, I would say do your due diligence, see how many books are out there of each that you're looking at, and see the rarity, and then see if there's any firsts in those books. Adam says, I just sold my backup copy of ASM 100. Reluctantly, if they ever do the 8-arm Spidey story in a movie, it will jump way up. And you know what? Maybe they will, especially with the Spider-Verse coming to the Sonyverse with the cartoons at Miles. You never saw if a character like that is going to show up. So you may be right. It's also, it's an issue that's number 100, right? It's a 100th issue of something. So it's got a great cover. It's always worth owning. But if I had to put my thing to the test and say one of those 3 books, I gave you the 1 or 2 that I'd rather have over that. The restart is a killer. I know. And he always says, always checking the weekly vids and dropping likes. That's what it's about. Trying to get this channel out there to everybody who doesn't even know I exist. I constantly have people telling me that I'm like the best YouTuber out there for comics. And I can't say how appreciative I am. I always answer any emails that I get if anybody has any questions. So I love you guys who continue to follow me and ask questions and reach out, because that's what this is about more than anything, is reaching out to people who I would have never met in my lifetime without YouTube and the comic book community. So somebody asked about, they mentioned 194 ASM. They mentioned some other books. I'm going to be at, and I know it's far away and we got some time. It's in June, but did I not share it? Maybe I didn't share it with myself. Give me a second. I'm going to be at a comic show in, give me 1 second. I got it here somewhere. I'm going to be at a comic show in August, and I want to share with you guys what I have. All right, maybe I didn't transfer it over here. All right, let me transfer it real quick, and then I'll show you. Give me 1 second. So for anybody who doesn't know, and anybody who lives in the area, again, I'm going to be at the Garden State Comic Fest in June. I think it is 24th or 25th. I'm sending it over now so I can show you guys what it is. And this way you can kind of check it out if you do live in my area. There we go. All right. So I'm going to be at the Garden State Comic Fest in June 24th and 25th. I'm going to be setting up there for the first time. I'm not a dealer. You guys know that. But I am going to have some books for sale. And I want to show you guys. I showed you last week some of the raws I'm going to have there. But I have a bunch of slabs that if anybody wants them ahead of time, do me a favor, reach out because they are for sale. Now, before I show you what they are, I'm mainly just trying to consolidate a little bit of my collection. I actually have doubles of most of the books that I'm going to be showing here right now. So I figured now's a good time for me, especially if I want to try to land another big book, that I may actually sell some of these. So I'm going to be at Garden State Comic Fest in Morristown, setting up for the first time. We're going to be filming there. So I will definitely be doing some live streams from there. I will post, some content later on, probably in the coming weeks after that show. But if you live in the area, come on down to see me. I'm really looking forward to meeting everyone. My first show, my first con. So I can't wait. But without further ado, I want to show you some of the books that I'm going to have there. So here's one of them. Amazing Spider-Man number 46, the first appearance of the Shocker. Amazing Spider-Man number 13 in a 4/5, off-white pages, by the way. First appearance of Mysterio. Amazing Spider-Man number 194. White pager, by the way. White pager, first Black Cat. Amazing Spider-Man 252, 9.2 white pages. A newsstand, by the way. Newsstand. So this is a little bit hard to come by in a higher grade. Though I'm not a huge fan of the newsstands. You guys know that. ASM number 6 in a 3.5, off-white to white. First Lizard. Amazing Spider-Man number 4. First appearance of the Sandman on a 1.8. Again, a nice book. You guys know I love Silver Age Spider-Man. And like I said, I have doubles of all of these. So Amazing Spider-Man number 3. First appearance of the Vulture. And the third appearance of Spider-Man, guys, in a 2.5 off-white pages. You don't see that too often. Here's a big one. My favorite Spider-Man villain, Doc Ock. First appearance of Doc Ock, ASM number 3 in a 1.8 off-white pages again for Silver Age Key. The last one I'm going to show you guys is this monster. X-Men number 1 in a CGC 2.0. There's a note on this one that says small piece out of margin of 15th and 16th page, but it's on the margin. And it's probably just a chip. So 2.0 cream to off-white. But again, first appearance of the X-Men. So I'm going to be at, like I said, Garden State Comic Fest in Morristown, June 24th and 25th. Come say hi if you're in the area. And if you're interested in any of these books, you're more than welcome to email me or DM me on Instagram ahead of time. So again, I'm here on a lazy Sunday just talking comics. If you guys have any questions on any books, I want to answer. Flexopotamus, what's going on, bud? Thanks for joining the channel. I think 251 will always be a bigger than ASM 100 and 194. 100 is a cool book with any awesome Ramita cover. 194 is relatively common in comparison. Marvel book with many copies available. I think all of them are readily available between the three. Like I said, I the 194 9.0, the higher the grades on the bronze books is where I tend to stand because there are still a lot of them out there, but fewer than the lower grades, obviously. I have a 184 CGC 8.5 signed by Wolfman. No idea of value. Well, the 9.0, let me just say that right now. I think I have listed for $550. 550. So, which I think is a good price. right around the area. So I figure the 8.5 Simon Wolfman is probably around the same 500, 550 would be my guess. High grade, but the Joker's a massive character with gross generational appeal. 51 actually on a cover. Neil Adams transcends comic book and popularity. Absolutely, I agree. And if you guys watch my top 10 Joker books that somebody asked me to do, that is number 3 on my list, and that's the quintessential like where Joker becomes the homicidal villain that he's always meant to become in that issue. So it is a key, not just a classic cover, just for that reason. Okay. Awesome. Valerie Henderson, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for jumping aboard. I really appreciate it. Again, I love meeting new people here on the channel. Um, totally happy when we get somebody new that jumps on board. Again, I'm here for any of the questions you might have. If anybody's collecting out there right now or looking for something, shout it out. You want to share it? I'm all about listening and helping when I can. Thank you, John. I really appreciate that, buddy. Thank you for joining us today. So, a couple of mottos, and I know I did this last week, but I'll do it again because I think it's important. Friends don't let friends overpay for second appearances, right? That's one of them. You guys know at the channel here, if we're going to spend money, we're going to spend it on first appearances or classic covers. That's the way to go, in my opinion. It's always great to get second appearances. That I don't say you shouldn't own them. You should, but if we only when we can get deals on them, right? So that's a motto that I came up with that I think is a good one. And I think a lot of the times we on the channel talk too much about money. That's my own, I know we do that, but show me the money book. Like what's the most, if you have a character that you love, what's the book that you want to own? It's the money book. That's the one that's going to get you the most bang for your buck. But like I said, we talk a lot of money on this channel and I don't always want to do that. So keep that in mind. If you want to buy a book because you love the character, do it. Do it. Just don't overpay for something, right? You can pay full price for important books, but for the books that aren't as important, that you just want maybe like run fillers or you like a cover, but it's not really a big key, save your money, try to find like a low grade or something that fits within your budget to have the book in the collection. No reason to go out and jump over everything. I know we do a lot of money talk on the channel, but I don't want to do that. All right. I don't want to do that all the time. It gets to be tedious. It gets to be people only focused on that. I want to have fun on this channel, and that's what it's about. For some of you who may not have seen this, I want to share this with you guys. A couple of years back, before Neil Adams passed away, I purchased some of original art. I don't know if many of you have seen this or not. I did a video on it a while back, but this is a Jack Kirby style Incredible Hulk done by Neil Adams, original art. I had it framed and it is in my comic room / office. And I don't know if a lot of people out there have seen this, but it's incredible. Neil is obviously probably my favorite DC artist. Everybody knows John Romita is my favorite Marvel artist. I'm a huge Jack Kirby fan as well. And obviously Steve Ditko, I'm a Spidey guy, but Incredible Hulk is probably like my third or fourth favorite character. And obviously I love Jack Kirby's Hulk. A lot of other people like other Hulks. Like Todd McFarlane does a really weird Hulk. It's like really wacky looking, very cool. But I always thought Jack was the best at drawing the Hulk. And this is a nice throwback by Neil Adams doing a Kirby Hulk. So I wanted to show you guys that because I don't know if any of you guys have seen this before, but I did have it on the channel. So Michael asks, I've acquired an FF5 Raw, so I love you for getting that. My all-time, one of my favorite villain ever, and I love that book. And got a CGC 3.0. All right, C1 because of a not-so-genuine eBay seller. I didn't overpay, but I wouldn't have bought it if I had known. Do you see upside on keeping it, or should I get out? Well, C1, how much work was done? So I'm assuming that means color touch, and it's minor color touch. Let me know, Michael, if that's correct, if it's minor color touch only. And if it's minor color touch only, you might want to have it removed. I'd kind of get a quote from either, I know Hero Restoration does color touch removal. CGC does it, so you may be better off doing it with CCS through CGC. They do it, and that will dramatically increase the value of the book. So let me know if it's minor color touch, C1. So if that's the case, I'd probably get a quote from them and then if it is minor and they can be removed, I might do that because the upside on that book is huge. And I don't know what you paid, but sometimes that's the risk we take. I've had bad experiences. Well, I had an Amazing Spider-Man #3 that I bought raw as well. This is years ago, and I sent it as well to CGC. Came back purple label for minor color touch, so I was annoyed as well. It's a very disheartening situation when that happens, but it happens. So he said yes. So it's minor color touch and a staple replaced. So you can also remove the staple as well. So I agree. A staple replaced, to me, I know they'd consider it restoration, but to me that's conservation. If you uh, replace a staple because maybe it popped or there's rust or whatever, and you're replacing it, to me that's conservation. You're conserving the book. So I'm not sure, but yes, I would absolutely reach out for a quote and ask, listen, is minor color touch on this book? What would it run me? And they'll ask you probably what the book is, FF, 5, 3.0. But the dramatic increase in that book that we'll get, 2.0 right now, I think is around $5,500, a 2.0 blue label. So a 3, I'm going to say anywhere is between 6,500 to 7,000. So maybe depending on how much color touch there is, where it is, if it can be removed without destroying the book, which I imagine it can. Let's say it comes back a 2.0, 2.5. Well, here you go. One staple replaced with minor color touch. I paid $3,700 after eBay fees and CGC grading fees. So yes, in my opinion, if the color touch can be removed, which a lot of times it can be, it may take a little bit away from the appearance of the book. So you have to figure that in. But like I said, a 2.0 blue label is going for 5,500 around there right now. And that's low considering where it was not too long ago. So in my opinion, if it costs you 2,000 or less, which I don't even think it'll cost that much, it's worth it. That's just my opinion. But reach out to CGC ahead of time and say, can I get a quote or what the process is? They may say send it in and then they'll give you a quote once they send it off to CCS and you may get a phone call or an email like that. I think it's worth taking a chance, especially because it's such a huge book. That's my opinion, Michael. I hope it works out. And if you do end up doing so, please let me know how it goes. I really would like to know. No, you don't have to stop. Don't call me Mister. Stop it. I'm like you guys. The direct ASM 194U show was the only second direct market edition. Despite people wanting newsstands, it's the scarcer version. There were only roughly 10 times more newsstands at that point. So there you go. Some great information from Adam there. I did not know that. Very nice. I actually picked up that book off at King Khan, the last one I went to from Barry Gary over at Barry Gary Comics. He gave me a great deal on that. So I would hold on to it, but I already have 2 other copies, so I don't need 3 of them. So I want to try to consolidate because I do have some big keys, and I want to move on to like another bigger book if I can get one. I know you're not into the modern books, but a couple of new characters popular lately I've seen is Punchline and Hollow's Eve. Any of your thoughts on staying power? Right now, to me, it's hard to invest, and when I say invest, I'm talking about spend a lot of money on some of these lower level characters that have newly come out. Obviously, the more modern books, the one I like the most is just Spider-Verse 2. I like her the best because even though Miles is a little bit bigger of a character, I don't know if the older generation will ever stick with that character, but because of, Spider-Gwen, I think a lot of people will flock to her as a more profitable character when it comes to holding modern books. So that's always my pick when I talk about modern books. If we're going to invest in anything, Punchline, it's hard to say. I would say that one probably the better one over Hallows Eve, but um, again, if you can get a 9.8 for cheap and hold on to it 10 years, you never know. I think you'll get a boost 100%. I don't think you're going to get a massive gain. That's for sure. Because I was looking into some comic books, and the thing of it is, I'm trying to move faster, also take my time. Is that a good thing or bad thing? Take your time. There's no rush. A lot of books have come down in price. This is an ideal time for anybody who wants to buy comics and hold on to them for 10 to 20 years. It's an ideal time right now. We had a massive market correction. And if you're willing to hold 10, 20 years, if it goes down a little bit more, you're fine, right? But I always tell people, if you're going to invest in comics, start in the Silver Age. I know a lot of people like to jump off into the Bronze Age because there's a lot of books. You can get probably a better grade, but I still rather have a Silver Age lower grade first appearance than any Bronze Age key. So that's just my opinion. But yes, take your time. No rush. Yes, I'm a Spidey guy. So if you're into Spider-Man, I think Silver Age, this Amazing Spider-Man will always hold their value. That's why I say start at the Silver Age. I'm assuming this was to the Neil Adams artwork. Thanks, Flex. I don't know much about value of original art. I know a lot. I may do something. Heritage always has, and Comic Connect always has a lot of original art for sale. I may do take, you know how I do the eBay sales every week? I've been doing them. This is my third one coming up on Monday or fourth one. I may actually do some original art sales that have gone sold on Heritage over the past week or month and add that into it just to show you guys. There's some wild, wild original art that has gone for sale. Right now, there's a John Romita cover on I forget the issue of Amazing Spider-Man, but it was a Bronze Age key, but it was absolutely unbelievable. It has got like 13 days left, and it's already like $37,000 or whatever it is. So I might do that and take some of those things. Jason from Omega Collects does a lot of original art, mostly modern stuff though, because the bronze and the silver stuff that have actually appeared in comics is outrageously priced. I went to New York Comic Con this past year, and they had an Amazing Spider-Man 55, and I know you guys heard the story before. The cover with Doc Ock with the glasses, dude, it was $300,000. I asked the guy how much was it. He's like, "Oh, I'm like, oh man, it was crazy, crazy." But that's a great idea. Do you like Mark Jewelers or National Diamond and Keys as comic deserving a much bigger premium over the regular issues? I like them, but see pretty wide opinions on how much difference it makes. So I think you have to be in the market for Mark Jewelers and National Diamond and Keys. They're rarer. So for somebody who collects them or for somebody who values that and that's what they collect, it makes a difference. There is for those collectors, but I'm never buying a book because of Mark Jewelers or National Diamond and Keys because I don't collect them. The whole thing for me was about the character. It's always been about the character and the artwork and the story. So the fact that something has a Mark Jewelers insert in it, I don't really care. I mean, great if you open up a book and it's got one in there and the person didn't know, cha-ching. But for me, this channel is all about history. It's all about love of the characters and the artwork and where these things came from. So that's what I collect. If you like them, I think that's awesome. But I don't like overpaying for that stuff because you're paying for a niche, right? And I don't do that. Just same with the overpaying for second appearances. Like it's a second appearance, great, but I don't want to pay a premium to get a second appearance. So let's see where we're at right now. I don't know why this stopped. I don't trust old books that are sold raw or a PGX slab. High likelihood that it's already been slabbed and seller trying to pass it as a higher grade raw. Yeah. So I get what you're saying. I like buying raw because when you guys watch my video tomorrow about the eBay sale, eBay sales video, you're going to see a raw book in there that the great guy got a great deal off of. And if it turns out that it's true to its grade and true to no color touch, then this guy scored. So it's all about being able to spot color touch, being able to spot if something's missing, being able to grade. If you feel like you can do those things, and I think I'm pretty decent at it, I'm not going to say I'm great. I'm decent because I've been burned before. And you're going to see that in an upcoming video, by the way, that I just got burned by something. But it's something I really wasn't familiar with. So we'll get into that when that video comes around, but it's going to be a good one. I always think it's worth it buying raw, especially if you're not into slabs. I think a lot of people are, but I'm into raw a lot. I think my Amazing Spider-Man run, I'm just going to keep raw outside of a few issues here and there. Michael, buddy, anytime. I'm always here for you guys. Can they do anything to replace staple? Why would they just remove it? It would have to be conserved. See, I know CGC considers it restoration, but I would rather consider it conserved. When if a staple has been replaced either because it's popped and it's gone, or it broke, or it's rusted out, I consider that you're trying to save the book so it doesn't fall apart. So why wouldn't that be conservation? That's just my opinion, but I can't. I'm not CGC, so I don't know why. Kevin Feige said that FF is going to be unbelievably huge, like Avengers franchise huge. So Doctor Doom is on the way. Dude, they have to use that character. He's the biggest Marvel villain of all time. So I think 3,700 for the book. and I forgot to ask you, Michael, how long ago did you buy that book? That's a pretty cheap price considering where the book is right now. Even raw, like that's cheap. So I'm saying that the seller probably knew something was off. But yeah, I can't wait for just some good Marvel content, right? That's what we're missing right now. Oh wow. You got to be careful. Like, oh, the guy who if anyone was on my show last week, I told you I had a guy who has an Action Comics 1 wanted to come on the channel. He was a little bit worried. I talked to him. He's a little bit worried about theft because there's a lot of theft going on. So this is, I'm glad you brought this up. Every time I seem like I go on Instagram, there's somebody reporting some type of comic theft. So guys, be careful. If you do own books, make sure you have insurance, especially if they're valuable. Always worth it. It is, right? I absolutely love this thing. It's one of my. I have 3 pieces of original art. This one, and a buddy of mine did 2 reproductions for the cover: Amazing Spider-Man 129 and Incredible Hulk #1. And they're spot on. They're huge. I wish I had a pick on here, but I have them. I've unboxed them before on YouTube. You just have to look for the video, and I'm on Instagram. I've showed them before, so they're unbelievable. 238 is first Hobgoblin. I like that book as well, but for me, I want to own that book in a 9.8. I have a raw copy that I believe is a 9.8, but I'm just going to keep it raw. There's no point in me slabbing that book if I'm not going to sell it. Waste the money. So, do I think Wolverine books will go up when the Deadpool movie comes out? I'm going to say no. They may get a spike like once the first movie comes out a little bit, but we've known that he's coming. He did. Hugh Jackman is going to come back as Wolverine for a while now, and they've been coming down. Incredible Hulk 181 has come down a little bit, not a ton, but it has come down. There are a lot of copies out there of that book. I do not actually own an Incredible Hulk 181 right now because there's just too many copies. I don't feel like I need to own that book right now. Some of the smaller keys don't get sucked into paying a lot of money. Like that first Deadpool versus Wolverine together, that book went nuts for like a week after they announced that and then came right back down. So I would not be going out jumping on any Wolverine books right now, especially, like the Wolverine limited series. Again, awesome book. I want in the collection, but don't pay more than $200 for a super high grade copy. It's not worth it. Yeah. So what CGC is doing now is they're trying to eliminate as many green and purple labels as possible. So that's what I've noticed. Okay. So again, when I get my CGC books back, I don't want to give it away, but there's something that came back with one of them, and it still came back a blue label. So keep that in mind. You can request blue labels. Doesn't mean you're always going to get it, but you can request it. So depending on the amount of work that's been done, obviously, if it's had extensive restoration, it's not going to come back a blue label. Not. But for this, with minor color touch, if that is removed and it just had a staples replaced, I can't see them saying, all right, we're not going to give this blue label. It'll just come back at the grade and say top or bottom, whatever staple it is, replaced. That's what it'll come back at once he gets the color touch removed. Uh-oh. 420 Spider Silva. That is not good. Why would a famous oh, hey. I don't think it's RDJ. No reason for him to stay. They probably give him the books for free if he wanted it. But yeah, that is, I don't know if you want to, I don't know if we should out that person right now. Probably not. We don't want to do that. But that is, why would a famous actor steal comic books? That to me is crazy. No reason for that, right? Especially with all these actors got money. So to go along, I know I showed this last week, but to go along with that Hulk drawing is this. I got this thing a couple months back. I showed it last week, but this thing is monstrous, man. It's awesome. Another classic Kirby Hulk statue I wanted to show you guys. It's just absolutely spectacular. So while we're talking about other stuff, I figured now's a good time to show what I have to show. But we gave away the 4,000 sub winner. Hopefully he contacts me via email and takes this thing off my hands. But I mentioned it before. This is what we're getting for 5,000. Iron Man 1. I know it's low grade, but still an Iron Man 1 guy. So a lot of people always ask me, why do I buy low grade Silver Age books, even if they're, destroyed like this book is? It's not, even if it's not destroyed, you could probably use a press. Yes, it has tape everywhere, but I don't care. Would you rather own this or any 9.8 modern comic outside of Ultimate Fallout 4 and Edge of Spider-Verse 2? I'd rather own this all day long, even though it's beat to death and whatever. It's still an Iron Man 1 mega key, undervalued book, classic cover. Why would I want to? Why would I not want this over something else? So that's my plan on giving that to somebody away once we hit 5,000. John, great question. I get asked this one a lot because there's a lot of Wolverine fans out there. A lot. And I love the book. And everybody knows if you watch my channel, I did a comic book collecting hierarchy for investments, 2 of them actually. And this book was on part 2. There's for bronze keys, a lot of people feel like they have to start in the Bronze Age because it's cheaper than silver and obviously gold. Gold is very hard. Even to me, it's very hard. I love the book. So I'm going to start by saying that if you're an X-Men fan, I think it's the #1 book to own after Hulk 181. Okay. And now, if you're a Wolverine fan, it's the second appearance of Wolverine. But I do not currently own a Giant Size X-Men 1. Do I want to own one? Yes. But I see no reason to own one right now. If I don't want to own a Hulk 181 right now, I don't want to own this book either. I just think it went so far so quick that it wasn't worth it. Eventually, it will be worth it again, but for right now, personally, I'd rather own a Silver Age key over this book. That's what I'm leaning to. So my advice is to anyone who wants to go get a big book, if there are Silver Age books you're interested in, I would do that first. If there are not, and you're only like if you're a huge X-Men fan, if you're a huge freaking Wolverine fan and you want this book, go get it. Like don't always think of everything as an investment because it's not the case. Get the grade that you want. It's a Bronze Age key, so it's readily available. There are a lot of copies out there. The higher grades, the better because, being it's a square bound, it's a little bit more tough to find in higher grade. So if you're dead set on getting this book, go grab it. Try to get the highest grade that you possibly can if you don't want anything else. If you want a Silver Age too and you're debating, I would always stick to Silver Age. Wow. One more book from Action 1 to 23. That is amazing. Congratulations. I would love to have that book when it comes out. I love the Iron Man. I can't blame for getting that. Yeah, listen, like I said, anytime I see Silver Age stuff, I pounce on it, especially when it's a good deal. If you get a book from the Silver Age, that's a key, that's a great deal. There's no better feeling. There is absolutely no better feeling. So I'm going to ask a question to everybody out there in the chat. Who's your favorite character? Is it a Bronze Age character? Or is it a Silver Age character? It's because that'll tell me like what you should be looking to get, in my opinion. If you're, obviously I'm a Spidey guy, so I have a lot of Silver Age Spidey because those are the books to get. I'm a Batman guy, so I have a Batman 1. My third character is probably the Hulk or the Punisher, so I have a Hulk 1. I have Amazing Spider-Man 129, so like those are the books to get because those are my top 4 characters. Superman is probably number 5, even though I'm not a huge Superman fan, but I only have 1 Superman book because I don't see the need to have everything. Obviously, if I can get Action 1 or Superman 1, I would do it. Looking for an entry-level Bronze Age CGC signed Stanley comic book. Any advice, suggestions? So, as I was saying before, Bronze Age is not a jumping off point for me, but if you want a Bronze Age key, there's only 4 or 5 I'd want to own. Okay? And I'm going to go in order. Hulk 181 is obviously the top spot because it's the first appearance of a major character that everybody loves. Even though there's a ton of copies out there, I still have to put it as number 1. Number 2, though, for me, is Marvel Spotlight 5 because there's a lot of factors into it. One is the black cover. So the better grades you have with the black cover, the better. Out of all those Bronze Age keys, there are less copies available on CG according to CGC. So it's a more rare than the other Bronze Age keys. And probably because there are not as many fans as like the Wolverines, stuff like that. And the black cover, a lot of them got destroyed. So that would be number 2 for me. 3 would probably be Giant Size X-Men 1. Because it's a double key. It's the first new X-Men team, and it's the second Wolverine, so I have to put it there. And obviously, 4 would be Amazing Spider-Man 129, one of my favorite characters, Punisher, and classic Gil Kane, John Romita artwork. I love that book. I love it. Those are 4. If I had to pick a 5th, it's Hulk 180. Okay, because the people who can't get the first 2 Wolverines, they're gonna settle there, and that book will always go up. But in that order, that's what I want to own from the Bronze Age. I don't really feel the need to own anything else for investment purposes. Like if you just want to pick up small books here and there, get what you want, just don't overpay. Don't overpay. So those are my top Bronze Age books. Everything else I pretty much stay away unless I can get them for cheap. I saw this. So My Comic Planet, thank you for bringing this up. Did you notice CGC CCS pressing turnaround times are now down to only 15 days without even doing fast track? Incredible. This may start to put independent pressers out of business. I'm going to say it's not, because if you still cost a ton of money to get a book pressed and cleaned, and they don't, from what people have told me, and I've never used them, they do a quick press. It's not a, like, when I press a book, I do it myself. I do it for 10 hours. And I know a lot of pressers will leave it in there and they may press it more than once. For me, I give it a nice 10-hour press, take it out, and I'm good to go. So I heard they don't do that. So be careful. Restoration removal is a different story, like we talked about before. That's a whole process that only certain people specialize in. So I know Hero Restoration does it. They're by me in New Jersey. And I heard they're very good. I know Comic Tom always has them on and touts their work. I was looking into getting my Batman 1, getting for information. I haven't done that yet, but those are the two that I know of. So Spidey or Batman? So you like me, Tyker. Me and you probably have the same taste in books. So Golden Age Batman, if you can afford it. Silver Age villains for Batman, if you can afford it. Those are the keys that I would buy. Spider-Man, Silver Age Spider-Man, to me, is still today the best investment for comic books you could do. No questions asked. All right, so Hulk all day. Another one like me, Spider Silva. Hulk, obviously Hulk 1. Hulk 1 through 6. I don't like buying 2 through 6 because they're a lot of money because of the rarity. I'd rather take the money for 2 through 6 and buy a Hulk 1 if I can. If I can't get a 1, I don't know that many other Hulk books that I really want to own. The run for Hulk, while the storyline was okay, I never had an issue with it, but there's not too many keys, right? So I actually collect the Todd McFarlane Hulk run because the way he drew those covers back in the day, I found them very comical. So I always wanted to collect them, but they're cheap. They're like $5-10 books. So I like doing that as well. But the Hulk one all the way, if you bought a 2 through 6 and paid all the money for that, you could sell those and buy a Hulk 1 low grade. I'd rather have a 0.5 complete Hulk 1, and they're out there, guys. They are out there. I'd rather have that. Batman, Wolverine, Hulk. So obviously, I went over Batman and Hulk. Wolverine, 181, Giant Size X-Men 1, and 180 in those orders. Everything else I don't want to own. There's some great storylines with Wolverine, and if you could get them for cheap, worth it. But for investment purposes, those are the 3 books, and anything outside of that, I can't see ponying up the money for any of those other books. But like I said, if you get stuff for cheap, they're worth it. Like I love some of the, and I wasn't an X-Men fan growing up. I got into Wolverine when like the whole Weapon X thing happened in the 80s. So I started reading that, but I never got into like the Claremont run on X-Men. I never read that stuff. And I know everyone says it's awesome, blah, 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 but I never got into it. But they have some great minor Wolverine keys in there. If you want to pick up for cheap, that's worth it because they're just cheap storyline minor keys. But I wouldn't overpay for them. Captain America and Hulk. So Captain America is one of the hardest characters to collect because all the major keys are in the Golden Age. They have like the whole, Captain America keys, if you're going to collect like the reading material for him and Falcon, great, but they're not big keys. You get those books for cheap and just to have runs, like that's it. Other than that, Captain America is tough. Very, very tough to collect. Punisher ASM 129, 135 to me is just on par as 129 as far as covers with the tarantula background. I love that fucking cover. Sorry for my French. Every time I see the cover, I have to check on the price because I want to own as many copies as I can because I think it's gorgeous. Of course, you have the limited series cover, but again, it's a $20 book, so I'm not going out and spending a lot of money on that. If you want to own it just to own it, I think it's great. Yeah, they only do a cold press, so that's what I was saying. Like they do like a quick cold press, which to me doesn't get out that much. So I'm not spending the money, especially when they want a fortune to press those books. Invest in a presser; they're not that much money, 200 something bucks. Learn how to do it yourself. Reggie collects, actually. Shout out to Reggie if you're watching it, which I doubt you are, but he actually had some great videos early on about pressing his own books. I don't know if he does it anymore, but they helped me figure out the way that I wanted to press. So maybe if anybody's interested in that, video, I'll do one and show you guys how I press books. It's very easy though. You just have to be a little careful. And once you do that, it's actually quite easy. Practice on some older books first, and then you go to the stuff you want. I don't press modern books that much. I pressed my Ultimate Fallout 4, came back a 9.6. I pressed my Edge of Spider-Verse 2, came back a 9.8. And I pressed another book recently that's not a modern, but it's, it's a 90s book, a late 80s book that came back. We'll find out in next week or the week after what it came back at. I don't want to spoil it, but it's a good thing. Same. Love. I agree, man. McFarlane he's my second favorite artist after John Romita and Jack Kirby. I'll say third. I love Steranko, and I'm going to send my annual 9.0 for a crack and press with the guy that Ryan from Automatic Comics uses. Crossing fingers that one of my favorite covers can get a bump. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what the book looks like and if it's worth it. Like, you tell me, Flexopotamus, what's the grade bump? What's the price range? Let's say it jumps from a 9.0 to a 9.4 or not even a 9.2. I don't know. What's the price range? Is it worth it? No idea. Hulk annual one. I figured that's what you're saying. Great question. Top 5 minor keys. So when you say minor, are we talking dollar amount or are we talking minor character? So let me know, Spider. If we're talking dollar amount, it's tough. If we're talking character-wise, it's probably a little bit. I'll give you one right off the bat is Marvel Spotlight 32, Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew. It's a Bronze Age book. You still can have it for cheap, under $200 and super high grade. That book, it got hot like for a second, and it came back down again. And eventually, I think you're going to get that. You're going to get that character. So here you go, character. So I agree. First Spider-Woman, I think, is a great Marvel Spotlight 32 is a great book to get. Okay. I'd definitely be all over that if you don't own a copy. I actually enjoy the cover as well. I'm trying to think to myself if minor key character. So would you consider like a book that I love? And so for the members of my channel, and I know James, you got this. I know you saw the video, but I told them there was a book out there that I was looking to get, and I'll put it out there as a book that I want to own. Definitely 100%. I consider it. It's not a minor character, but it's a villain, and that is Mr. Freeze. If you're a Batman fan, first appearance of Mr. Freeze, also known as Mr. Zero, Batman number 121, a Silver Age book. If you get a low grade copy, you could probably find one out there for $1,000. I know it's maybe a lot, but there's a lot of pent up thought that he's going to appear in one of the Batman movies that are upcoming, because we already got a lot of those other villains. So I don't think they're going to stay in the same route. So we may end up getting a Mr. Freeze. And if he doesn't show up, that book it's a first appearance. So like true first appearance, like all the other Silver Age Batman villains, except for him, Poison Ivy, and Bane, and a couple others maybe they're all first Silver Age appearance. This is actual true first appearance of Mr. Freeze. That is a book and a character that I want to own 100%. I'm searching for a copy right now. I'm trying to think other smaller characters that I want to own. Jeez. It's tough because a lot of the smaller characters I think you're going to get from Marvel right now, but if they've introduced a lot of them, like Blade was a one. Now the book's gone, it's gone too high to buy right now. Even though it's come down, it's still too hard. That was a character I wanted. The whole spec with Dracula and Werewolf is they got crushed now all of a sudden. Like I said, don't buy them, and they got crushed. Let me think on a couple others, but I gave you like 2 or 3 there. I'll give you X-Men 266, First Gambit. Very popular character, and I do believe they'll probably show Gambit earlier than some of the other ones because he hasn't been used yet. Again, a modern key. I only want to own that book in a 9.8 though, okay? That's it. So those are 3 that I gave you off the top of my head that I think are good bets for long term. And I don't usually give you modern stuff, and I consider 90s books modern stuff. So that's one of them. But the other 2, 100%. For the Hulk, it'll run about 200 for the press and regrade. If it's a 9.2, it's a wash. If it's a 9.4, it's a really big win. There are 2 flexible little crunches on the spine that can be fixed. That's to each his own. I don't really know if I want to spend the money to do that. To me, it doesn't really. I don't. If it's a 9.0 to a 9.4, to me, it's not worth it. but to you, it may be. So that's to each his own. It's your call. I'd rather not spend the money on that, though. Which book is the best investment book of these 5 books? Tales of Spencer 39, FF1, Journey to Mystery 3, Tales of Shaunus, or ASM1? By far, in my opinion, it's ASM1. If I had to rank them, FF1, it was like a dead book for a while until they announced that Disney bought Fox, started to jump up. And even now, the book has gotten crushed. Book's gotten crushed. It's the first one, we all know, but I think the lack of a great cover really hurts that book. It really does. I love Journey into Mystery 83, but you can still find one right now for cheap. Forget Tales to Astonish 827. It's the first Ant-Man, guys. Forget that. It's a great key, but I don't like the cover. 2, I don't think it's a really sought after key by people. I think because Spider-Man, granted, it's not the first appearance. It's the first in his own major title, but because it's Spider-Man, to me, it's always worth buying. It's always worth it. Tales of Spencer 39, I think, is a close second because the popularity that Iron Man has now become, even though he's done in the MCU. I love that cover of that book. And a lot of people don't, but I think that's a close second. If I had to only pick one, it's ASM1. That book has come down as well. They all have. Everything's come down. But if I had to pick one that I wanted long term, even though it's not a first appearance, Spider-Man, because he's more popular. 266. I know now, even CGC saying that X-Men Annual 14 is now the first appearance. To me, that's still a $20 book. The money book is the money book. That's why I showed you guys before, like that came with that slogan. Same with 180 and 181. What's the money book? It's 181. 266 is the money book. That's all day long. Connecting covers will gauge you get for any books in one side, or so they'd be the same. That's just personal preference. I'm assuming that all those are modern keys, so I'd want them all. If you're going to buy a modern key, I'd want them all in a 9.8. But if you're not going to collect graded books, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Just if you want to keep your collection. That's why I wouldn't spend money on these 9.8 books unless they're investment books. And there's a few out there for modern books. Like I think the Batman, First Damian Wayne, it's been all over the hot 10. I'm not, maybe it's between 200 to 250 at a 9.8. You stock that away for 20 years and you make some money. That's it. You're not making money in a year or 2 years. It's not how it's going to work. So with modern keys anyway, it's not going to work that way. So if you want to own moderns for long term, 9.8, that's the way to go. Other than that, just own them to own them. Don't even have them graded. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I love Mr. Freeze. I don't know if you guys saw that old Batman and Robin movie. That movie was terrible, but if they do a Mr. Freeze right, they could really be done well. So I also love that book. I think it's a great cover. I've been trying to get the book for years, and then it popped, and I thought my time was over, but I'm still hunting for it. And the members of my channel, they know what I'm going after. So they know if I'm usually going after something, I usually get it. It just may take me a bit. Yes, I think to me, he's one of the top 5 Batman villains, and he has so many. Obviously, the Joker, Mr. Freeze, the Riddler, Two-Face. To throw a fifth in there would be tough, but probably the Penguin. But a lot of great questions today, guys. You're doing awesome. But we're here. It's 1:30. We've been here an hour. I'll probably do for another half hour, and then we'll shut it down. I think I covered everything. Don't forget, Comic Connect is still having a Superman 1 8.0, I think they have available. Or I might be thinking of Heritage. Heritage, I think, might have it. One of them is Superman 8.0. Comic Link has a Batman 0.5 green label and a couple of Superman 1s right now that are purple label that I'm keeping my eye on if anybody else is interested. I want to see where they go. It's pretty crazy right now. Some of these Golden Age keys that are available. John says he owns a double cover ASM 252 signed by friends. Your thoughts on the value? I would think that's pretty rare, right? So a 252 that I have, the 9.2, even though it's a newsstand, I think is only like 250 something or whatever the thing is. So depending on the grade, I would say at least probably $500. I would think that's depending on the grade, but I would think that's double cover is pretty rare, especially in that book. Absolutely. Don't buy anything though. Buy what's important to you and what you think is worth it. Like I still think right now, Silver Age keys are your best bet. As much as as much as things are selling and getting crushed right now, they also went up extremely quick. Like I gave the story of like Amazing Fantasy 15 not too long ago, how that book did nothing for like 10 years and all of a sudden it went nuts. But if you bought that book prior to 2020, you still made 33% in your money, at least. And I know it's an AF-15, but it's all timing. So right now, timing is at our advantage, right? Everything's gotten crushed. So if it falls a little bit more, who cares? As long as you're holding the book for 20 years, you're going to be 100% fine. But buy the best of the best if you're looking for money. Don't say, oh, I'm going to go get a Hulk 181 or 129 because that's what I can afford, because you can always go out and get those books because there's literally 20,000 plus of those books out there without question, 20,000 of each. So I'd rather own the rare stuff, the Silver Age stuff, and Golden Age, but Golden Age is very hard because they're a lot rarer and some of them are, a fortune. So even me, I struggle with owning a lot of that stuff. Do you have a box of low grade reading copies alongside GCC comics? Do you read from other sources? I use like the omnibus, the hardcovers, trade paperbacks if I want to read something. Obviously, I do have some like Spider-Man stuff. Like I have Silver Age duplicates. That's why I'm selling some of my graded, because I want to try to put some of the money into a bigger book. But I'm not going to read those Silver Age keys. I'll buy like the hardcover stuff if I want to read something. And I have all the early Spider-Man anyway, because I love the stories and the characters. And to me, finding out like origins, like how the villains become the villains, I absolutely love that. And how Spidey, has Spider-Man always has an attachment to all his villains. And that's what makes them great. He has like a personal attachment to all of them. So yeah, trade paperback omnibus if you want to read. That's always a better option. Or reprints. Like you want to read AF-15, there's a ton of reprints out there. What are your thoughts on sending big CGC slabs to get new custom labels? I've noticed the new customs labels actually sell more if they're standard. So yes, I've done that as well. I've had books recased. Most of the time when I'm sending something to be relabeled or recased, they have older CGC cases that need recasing anyway. So yes, if you have something recased, you can choose a new label still. It's only $5. Okay, let me get this off the screen. So if you get something recased, depending on the value of the book, I think it's like $25 for a certain level, and anything high grade revalue is $50, and then $5 for the label. So obviously you got to ship the book there and ship it back, but it's $50 to have it regraded in a high tier, high value. So depending on the book, they do hold a premium. People want those Marvel labels, 100%. I do. I think they look great, a lot of them. So I would do it depending on the book. Like I'm not sending $100 book in for a recasing, because then you're paying another 100 for the shipping to get it back. I don't think that's worth it. But some of the bigger Silver Age ones, or even the bronze, is still worth it. 2.0. See, I don't know if you saw this. They just had a 1.0 that did not do well. Comic Connect. A 1.0 sold for, I want to say, with the fee of like 116. So that's not a lot for Superman 1 at a 1.0. That book actually came down. Now I don't know if it was just because of bad timing, because there's other Supermans available right now, and there's a lot of them. There's like 4 or 5 Superman 1s that are being sold right now by all the auction houses. So I don't think it's a great time to list a 2.0, but if you're a buyer right now, that works in your advantage. Yes, I would love to own that book, but it's probably going to go way out of my price range. If a 1.0 sold for 116 with the premium, you figure that book is going to close to 175 to 180, I would think. Way over my budget. What site do you like better, GPA or Go Collect? So I don't use Go Collect, and it doesn't mean I don't like the app, because I do, or the website, I do. And I think it really looks nice. But I think when I look at GPA and I look at Go Collect and I compare the sales data, they don't match. And that's what scares me. But I can go and track GPA sales. I can see where they sold, what they went for, so I can find the accuracy. Now, Comic Link doesn't report to GPA, and I like Comic Link. That's my favorite auction house. I've yet to buy anything off of auction, but I say yet because that may be changing soon. But I always use their exchange. So they only have 3% buyer's premium as well. So I like Comic Link, but I use GPA for everything. But it shouldn't be your only resource, okay? should not be your only resource. I look into GPA when I'm looking to sell a book or buy a book. I look at what's listed on eBay that hasn't sold yet. I don't use Go Collect really, so I can't comment. It's outside of the fact when I've used it in the past, the price stuff didn't they didn't match, so that kind of threw me off. That's why I don't use them. But what I also look at is I go, if you follow Elite Comics 11, you follow Diamond Comic, I think Diamond Comic Club, they sell books and they post books for sale, and Grail's Comics. You can always find books that they have listed and what they listed for, and if they are marked sold. Now, you won't be able to tell what they sold for a lot of times, but usually they're pretty close to asking price for the most part. So if you do all those things, you can kind of look at and see how close everything is and what you should pay for a book between asking and sales price. So that's what I do. So I would say, I know GPA costs money, but for 100 something bucks or whatever it is for the year, totally worth it. There you go. There you go. I didn't have to say it. So I don't want to say questionable. I just don't know where they get their info from. I can track most of GPA sales. I can find out where they got the sale from, and I like that. My buddy on Instagram actually showed me a great tool on eBay. So shout out to you. You know who you are, Dan. That you can actually, if you have an eBay account and you go into Seller Hub and go to research, you can type in a book at any grade and look for the last sales and find out exactly what stuff sold for. So if you have a book listed for, 2,000 bucks and it was bought at a buy it now for an offer, they'll tell you the exact amount that it was sold for, which is great. So you don't have to have GPA. You could use eBay sales as your only tool. I like using everything though. It kind of gives me like a great feel for what I should be paying for a book for a certain grade. But that's a great question because I think a lot of people out there, they don't use any data when they buy. And I don't know how you do that because everything's important, and knowing what I paid and what gets sold, especially nowadays, is it's important. And you'll, if you guys watch my eBay last sale videos, you'll see that because I take the book that sold and I take the GPA data and I'll compare what this sold for, what it was 90 days, and then 12-month, and then last year and the year before to see where it came from. I think it's extremely important. That's why I started doing it. So far, it's been a really popular video, more popular than the Hot 10 the past couple of weeks. So no, I use a separate insurance company. Okay. Collectibles insurance is what they're called. Would I recommend them? Yes. I have yet to file a claim though. So hopefully I will never have to, knock on wood, but I don't use my homeowners. I use a separate collectibles insurance. And I think you're better off because I don't know how it would work with homeowners. God forbid something happened to your home. If they will try to scam you and say, no, blah, blah, blah. It's not that we don't cover that. Blah, blah. I'd rather have my own separate collectibles insurance. 18, that is the first Ned Leeds, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, John. Great book. That's one of the first books when I got back to collecting I picked up because it's a minor key with Ned Leeds. It's a great cover to boot. Here's a couple of keys that nobody ever talks about. Ready? ASM 121 and 122. The great yellow Ramita cover with all the faces on it with the death of Gwen Stacy, and then the 122 with the Goblin on the front where Spider-Man seeks revenge. Two books that I absolutely love. So character-wise, I know somebody asked this before about the characters. I gave you 3, but I think any character that is popular that hasn't shown up yet, you could take a bet on as long as it's cheap. I happen to stick to the spider characters because I think you're going to see them sooner rather than later. See, that book had to be a pretty penny at a 9.8 because of that cover and the yellow cover. How much was it, Tiker? The 9.8. That cover is beautiful. I think you guys heard a story of my copy. I have a raw copy I found in a freaking somebody's short box, and they charged $25. It's like a 7 to 8.0. It's beautiful. And I couldn't believe it when I saw it in there and I snatched it. This was years and years ago, though. $5K. You know what? That's not a bad price, in my opinion, for a 9.8. It's a classic storyline. Classic death. Beloved character. Spidey issue. I'm not going to say that's bad. I would love that book in a 9.8 signed by freaking John Romita. How awesome would that be? Probably not even out there. I don't even think they'd make that book. Everything's been crashing. That's why, like right now, I'm not focusing on Bronze Age just because of that. So many copies out there. I've kind of been wanting to stick to silver, and I don't buy too many golden age books because one, they're a fortune. So if I'm gonna buy a golden age book, I want to buy a classic cover or like a key, and all the keys are a lot of money. So you have to be diligent. You have to be patient and find the right copy. But it is what it is. I still think now is a great time to buy. If you're looking right now, don't be shy. As long as you're willing to hold. I think a lot of people, where they get into an issue is they have a book, they buy a book, they spend a good amount of money on a book, and the book starts to go down and they panic and they sell it. That's a completely wrong thing to do. When you buy a book, know that you're married to it for 20 years. Now, if you think you may have an issue with money in those 20 years, or any type of like hindrance to you doing that, then I would stay away because it's not worth it, especially where the economy is. And they're saying it's only going to get worse. But that's what I do. So I try to just help anyone who thinks they might want to collect the same way I collect, and it's long term. You can get a lot of great deals right now, a lot of great deals. So the two original art pieces that I have of ASM 129 and Hulk 181, Hulk 1, they were commissioned art pieces. They were. So I have a picture, I think, on my phone. If I can see it to send it to the computer, if I still have it. You know what? I have it on Instagram. That's where I have it. There. Give me a second. I'm going to send it to myself on the computer and show you guys exactly what it is, okay? This thing, they're awesome. So I got a buddy of mine who I don't even know if he's still on Instagram or not. His name was Kuma's Comics. He's one of the most fantastic artists I've ever seen. And I hope he's still out there because he knows that I love him. But his artwork is amazing. And when I saw him doing these reproduction original art pieces, I'm like, dude, how much are they? And he gave me a price, and it wasn't cheap because when you do something like this, you can't expect it to be cheap. But I actually traded him a couple of books for one of them, and then I paid him the difference. But here you go. So he used the actual original paper that they used. The papers aged to when these books were actually drawn. So there's age accurate paper. They're pieced together like they were, like their actual original comic art. So as you can see, look at the Hulk Hulk 1, how like you'll see like when comic original art is done, this is exactly what they do. I have it framed so you can't see the entire thing, but they're actually on, 17 and I think 10 and a half art paper. Well, I don't know what it's called, so I apologize, but it's amazing. He's an amazing artist, and they're actual reproductions of the original things, but they are original art. So I did have them commissioned. I wanted him to do an Amazing Spider-Man 39 because that's my favorite cover, but he got out of the game after he did these two pieces. So it is what it is. He's an amazing artist. I wish he came back because I would love to buy more. He's a fantastic artist. He actually had prints of these as well. He made prints, not actual original art. So if he's still around, I mean, he might have some prints. I don't know if he's still out there, but right now, all pre-code horror is just going crazy. But my thing with pre-code horror is this: I used to collect them. I had a Tomb of Terror 15, which is a classic burning of the face cover, and I had a Black Cat Mystery 50, which is probably the most famous pre-code horror comic of all time. And they just weren't appreciating as fast as some of the Marvel keys at the time. So I sold them and rolled them into some Silver Age Marvel, and they did better. But they're awesome covers. The art is unmistakably phenomenal. So yes, but they're a niche. They're a niche comic. So you have to buy the people who are buying them or people who love the artwork, but they also have a niche to sell them. So that's when I buy books, I think to myself, how hard are they to get rid of as well? But I love the artwork. 189.8 and an ASM 300.99. Wow. Holy crap. What is the 181.98 right now? I want to say it's like 75,000. That's down, but I want to say it's like, I could be wrong. so don't hold me to that. But the ASM 300.99 is rare. Congrats to you, man. Congrats to you. That is unbelievable. Thoughts on Detective 140, 1946. Traded books worth $7K for a nice 2.0. FMV is 5,000, which in my opinion is outdated. I'm mostly into Silver Cheese, but first Riddler, awesome cover as well. I think it's worth it because it's rare. That's the first thing. I love the book, so I love the Riddler. He's one of my favorite Batman villains. But again, not a lot of people are going to go out there and buy that book. So do I want to own it? 100%. I do think at a 2.0, I feel like it should be double than that. Are you sure that's the right price? Let me check real quick. I'm here, right? Let me go on GPA. 140. Let's see. Since I'm here at a 2.0. All right. So yeah, the last GPA sale was January of 2021. So when I say that not a lot of people are searching for that book, we don't get a lot of sales. That's why like I'm picky when buying Golden Age stuff because if I'm going to buy it, I have to know that a lot of people are looking for it. So just to give you a heads up, the 3.0 sold in November for $72.55. So you got to figure right now the book is probably around between 5,000 and 6,000, I would think. There was a 4.5 in August for 11,000 and change. December 60 for 18,000. So that may give you a little bit of a hint. Again, an awesome book, a piece of history, so you cannot go wrong. But it's in how many people are looking to buy it. So, I'm going to look at how many were sold. So since 2021, it only sold once. A 3.0 in 3 years, 2 copies were sold. So that's the thing. And not a lot of people are buying them. So that's what's driving prices down right now. Swagglehaw's recent Comic Quest announced has been a little encouraging. I think we may have found the floor on most keys. Might start to see him climb back in 24, 25. I think it's all usually when any type of an investment, when it goes down, you get a little bit of a bounce, right? And then either we continue downward or we start the ascent. Now, I use my AF-15 reference that I used. We had a time once that book came down in price that it just flattened and stayed where it was for 10 years and didn't move. Then all of a sudden, explosion. So that's why I always say, if you're willing to hold, you're going to do just fine, no matter what you buy, as long as they're like significant comics. If you're just like run fillers and certain things like that, that's why I say stay away from spending big money on not important books. I'm not saying that you shouldn't own them. You should, but you've got to pay the right price for them. Got the co-creator of Kyle Rayner to do commission work for me. He did Kyle Rayner as a Black Lantern. That's awesome, bud. Original art is a way to go for a lot of people. So yes, Wolves fan, I did announce that Jared Smith is the winner of the Thanos giveaway. Hopefully he contacts me. He's got till today's Sunday. He's got till next Saturday to contact me so I can give this away to him. Hopefully he does, because I don't want to go to a third giveaway for this, because at that point, if we get to number 3, I'm just giving it away to somebody on this chat at this point. Okay. Because this is crazy. Thank you so much, James, buddy. I really appreciate that. You have no idea how much that means to me. When everybody says that like I'm deserving of more, I blame YouTube. They just don't push my videos for some reason, but I try to be informative as I can. I try to help anyone out there as much as I can. So thank you, James, and thanks for being a member of the channel as well. Got a Batman 251.94. So I'm in Neil Adams. However, it's a purple. All right. So I'm surprised because that is a silver. It's a Bronze Age key. So why is it a purple label? What's wrong with it? Is there a color touch on it? I can tell you what the value is. Just use GPA tells you all that stuff. So 251. Let's go to 251. And then I think about GPA. You You can choose universal, you could choose, restored, and I can get all the information right there. So a 9.4. All right. So last time I sold was 2019. So they're not common, these purple labels. Okay. So we had an 8.0 in this month. That's a purple label for 525. So a 9.4, probably worth it. I would say about $700 is my guess, roughly. But yeah, I mean, depending on the color touch, I might want to have that removed considering it's such a high grade, but I don't know what it would do to presentation of the book. That's the one thing you would always question, right? It might be worth it because let's say we go to, so let's just say it would go down to a 9.0. A 9.0 sold last month for $12.50. So that's a $500 increase, but it all depends on what it would charge for the removal and how much was it. If it's minor, it might be something stupid. I have no idea, but it might take away from the eye appeal of the book or it go a lot lower. So, I mean, an 8.0 for blue label is 900. So, but I think a lot more people will want to own a blue label than a purple label. But a to each his own, man. It really makes a difference. Such an awesome cover. Thank you, Candace, buddy. Appreciate you joining me. So great comment. Joke's on you because somebody, Brave and the Bold 28 is the first appearance of Justice League. Errol, who's always on the channel, wants to buy that book a lot because he thinks that book is the next book to go nuclear. First Justice League, because a lot of people can't afford like first Batman, first Superman, first Wonder Woman. So just like the Avengers 1, it's a book that people will flock to. But Avengers 1, keep in mind, it's gone up, but it hasn't gone up a ton. Another book that's really undervalued. So I think that even though this book may go up, it's not going to go crazy. It just won't. It's just my opinion. But I could be wrong. But yes, it's an awesome book to have. It is a gamble, but sometimes gambles are worth it. Sometimes they're not. But either way, to each his own. The book is just having the book. It's a classic cover. If the Joker's important to you, then it's worth it to have the book. That's what it matters. Like I know I said before, we talk so much about prices and what books are worth. Sometimes I think we lose sight of the fact that it's not the end all to be all, right? It's not. If you want a book, it's because you should love the book. So I'm going to give you an example. So I'm going to play this video. Well, I was going to upload first, but it's short. It's like under a minute. But this book is restored. You guys know I own this book. And I did a little thing on my YouTube channel recently just highlighting it. And I want to play it for you guys if you haven't seen it. But it's just buy what you love. That everybody says it. It's a cliche. We all know it is. But buy what you love. And that's what's important. If you enjoy a character, enjoy the history of the character, that's what you should do. So hold on. Let's play this thing real quick. So I'm sorry if that blew your eardrums out. I did not realize it was that freaking loud, so I'm sorry. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys that in case you haven't seen it. So I have a couple more questions and keep them coming, guys. Really got nothing to do. So if you have any more questions, I'm always here. I attended a comic show last Sunday, and to my surprise, about 90% of the dealers were cash only. Is this a new trend I chose now due to tax code or something? It was disappointed because I don't. So yes, I think you just hit the nail right on the head. And I know I've said this to you before, but I absolutely love your thumbnail. That's an awesome Gojira. I think that's exactly it because of the new tax code, and now you have to pay tax on every stupid thing out there. It sucks. Just like eBay, like I have eBay stuff on the sale. I'm not selling a lot of stuff on eBay before now because I have to pay tax and everything unless you can show that what you paid for the book or what you paid for whatever you're selling, and it's a huge issue. So 100%, I think that's the reason why. Now, with that said, I'm going to be at Garden State Comic Fest in June, and I will be taking Venmo, or not Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, friends and family. I could take payments through my website, so that works too. And of course, cash is always king. We're gonna have to pay tax sometimes. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. But yes, I think the 100% it. I usually carry a lot of cash. Don't tell everybody that. What would be a good grade for the first appearance of Justice League? It's a Silver Age book, so in my opinion, you could buy whatever you want. Anytime Silver Age, I think 2.0 or higher is what you strive for. But you guys saw I have 1.0s in my collection and 1.8s. So it all depends on what you can afford and what you want and what you're comfortable with. Any grade is fine. Don't as long as I always say with silver, as long as it's complete, no restoration, you could buy whatever grade you like. I think the better presenting the book is, the better off you're going to be. Just keep that in your head. So I think 2.0 or higher, you're always fine. But it all goes with what I just said. If you combine everything and buy the grades you want or you could afford, you'll be fine. Correct. Facts. The IRS is coming for everything, man. They don't care anymore because they're printing money. They got to find out other ways to get it. But that's for another conversation, right? But yeah. So if you guys missed it, Jared Smith won the 4,000 subscriber giveaway. We're doing the Iron Man one for 5,000, and we're already at 4,200. So as soon as we get to 5, I can't wait to jump on this thing and do it again. But if there's no questions, I'll probably give you another 10 minutes, then we'll go. If there are more questions, we'll keep rolling. I said I was going to King Con next Saturday. I will be there at 11:30 a.m. filming. So we're not going to go live, but I'm going to go and just film and just I'll probably do minor editing to that and then just throw it up. And so you guys can see my reaction to the books, meeting everybody. A lot of guys I've met already, but not seeing them for quite a while. Stuff like that. There you go, man. That's what it's about. Iron Man 1. Even though it's a low grade, that's why I always say, like, someone just asked about what grade would you buy? Silver Age. If you can get a book like that for cheap and I got it for a good price, it's worth it. I was going to pick that up no matter what, but I knew I was going to give it away because for some of the higher grades, while it's not a fortune, it's still a lot of money. $400 to $500 in mid to low grade. It's still a lot of money. So somebody who doesn't want to go out and spend that kind of money, hopefully they win it and they could say they have an Iron Man 1 in their collection. That's it. Like I said, it's lazy Sunday. We're hanging out here. Nothing crazy. Anybody excited for any upcoming Marvel or DC movies as well? Nothing really coming out. I mean, I was excited for Loki season 2, and now they pushed that back. So I don't know, I don't know where they're going with all this stuff. Like why they're pushing stuff back. No idea. But it's frustrating, but we'll get there. Should you get your books graded first to get the insurance, or what should be the opposite? It doesn't matter, and just give them an amount that you when you're going through the whole process of insurances, they're going to ask you the value of what they're worth. So as long as you give them an accurate value for what they should be covered for, that's what matters. They'll ask you where you keep the books. They'll ask you, if you keep them at home or in the bank or wherever you keep yourself, a storage facility. It all that will all factor in what your premiums will be. So it really doesn't matter if they're graded or not. It's about the value you declare them for. So keep that in mind. Flash, I got to tell you something. Everybody says, even for the people who've seen the movie already, that this movie is phenomenal. When I first heard about it, I wasn't excited for it. Ezra Miller's a disaster, but from what I've heard, that this movie is going to blow people away. So I don't know how they go away from the Flash and Ezra Miller if this movie is going to be as successful as everyone thinks it's going to be. And if it is, You know, that's a big conundrum for James Gunn and DC, because how do you get rid of an actor and a character that where they're going to blow the box office away? You can't. They're not going to let them. So hopefully, they steer clear of doing that, but it remains to be seen. But I am excited for the movie. I wasn't going to see it, but now I think I have to. There's a lot of things going on with the Blade movie. I'm hearing the actor Marshala Ali, whatever his name is, he's asking for a lot of rewrites of the script, and that to me is just not a good vibe. Remember when Edward Norton did that with the original Hulk movie? And the movie was entertaining, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't a great movie. It doesn't look good for Blade right now. And the book has come down a lot over the past year, and I'm wondering if that's part of the reason. I know it got delayed. The guy looks like Blade. It's a great looking Blade for the character, but if the movie's not good, man, that character's done. Sorry, but it is. If they have to make that movie succeed, if it's not successful, we have a big problem. And again, that's what happens with Marvel because, and I've said this before, they've used all their major characters already over the past 10 to 12 years. So they're going into other characters that the layperson doesn't know. Comic fans know who Blade is. They know who, She-Hulk is. They know who these other characters are. So those people are always going to watch those things. But to the layperson, do you care about Blade? The answer is no, you don't. So they have to make that movie good. Same with the Submariner. I thought that his portrayal was fine. They changed the character too much for my liking, but again, the layperson doesn't like that. They are not going to go for that, in my opinion. That's just how I see it. So they have to make it right. All right. So a couple of people I'm friendly with watch him religiously. Okay. So yes, I'm familiar with the channel, Reserved Investments. Let me state right off the bat that I don't have a problem with the guy. It's his own YouTube channel. He can say whatever he wants. So let's start with that. Okay. That's what this is. People give opinions on stuff. Excuse me, because my throat is getting dry. So yes, keep in mind, he states that it's an investment channel. So it's not really a comic book channel. He talks about other things as well. Collectible investments. That's his niche. That's what he wants to do. That's what he talks about. So it's not really a comic book channel. So with that said, me for a comic book YouTuber, what I look for, are you entertaining? Just like anything, like an MCU movie or a DC movie or anything you watch, are you entertaining? So if you notice in my videos, and I'm not comparing myself to him, but all my videos I try to entertain people with and give some information. So like I try to make it, my hot 10 is like bam, it's fast, I'm gonna give you info and I'm gonna try to make you laugh and give you some information at the same time. So that's not a lot of people. I think Comic Tom is like that as well. He tries to give you information, but he also tries to entertain. And that's what I like about Comic Tom. Forget everything else. Very entertaining. Gem Mint, great voice. Early on, he was a lot better because he was a lot more entertaining. Now it's not as much for me, but he doesn't entertain me. So he may be right on a lot of stuff. I don't think I'm not always going to say he hates on the comic market, but he's a believer, and he may be right on this 100% that in order to collect something for investment, it has to be rare. So keep that in mind. And I do think he's telling the truth on that, but a lot of the time, collecting is one thing and investing is another. There's very rare that they cross over and are both, but there are times that they do. So if you're a comic book collector, you're not really worried about investment. If you're an investor in collectibles, then you should only be buying certain things. He's right about that. The sweet spot is finding the things that you love and are investments as well. That's, to me, is there's no better feeling than that, because you know that your money is safe. You know that you're buying something that you want and you believe in, and it's a part of your history, not just history itself, but your history. You cannot go wrong. That's why I always say, like, Silver Age Spider-Man is the best investment. I love it because it's what I love. It holds value. Doesn't mean you're gonna get rich off of it. And that's what people forget. Like, I'm not buying an Amazing Spider-Man, number 4, first appearance of the Sandman, because I'm gonna get rich off of it. If I hold and I have a 2.0 in my collection, if I hold that for 20 years, is that book gonna go up? Yes. So I'm making money over 20 years. Yes. Don't expect to become rich off of it, though. And I think that's the point that he gets at. But I don't watch him enough because I don't find him entertaining. He may be right, he may be wrong, but I get for some people he's maddening, but just don't watch him then. The more you watch them, the more you're feeding into that, and if you don't like it. I agree. So this is a great point. My biggest issue with Golden Age is pricing. A lot of the books have big gaps in their sales data, and it makes it hard to figure out what book is worth in a specific grade. So keep in mind that these Golden Age keys are scarce. So what I do in this instance, because it's this is 100% right. Look up a book. Let's say you're buying whatever Golden Age book in a 4.0. Okay. 4.0 sale was way back in 2019. So 4 years ago. I'm looking at recent sales for other grades that were recent as they can. All the grades recent as they can on GPA. And I'll compare. All right, this sold in 2019 at this grade. This sold in last month for this grade. And I'll find a sweet spot where I think that book is worth now. And that's the way I do it. It's not going to give you an exact price of something's worth, but also because the books are rare, you could probably end up overpaying a lot of the time. Bartopotamus, buddy. Thanks for hopping on. Glad not to hear for the Thanos statues anymore. I hope so. I know people doesn't like my long drawn out intro to my video, but it's a staple. So now you're gonna have to hear about the Iron Man 1. You have to hear about that now. Every video. Every video you have to hear about this now because this is the new giveaway. You know, the faster we get to 5,000, the faster you don't have to hear about it anymore. Then we have to hear about the next one. That's the thing. But at least it's new stuff everyone we do. I collected stamps growing up. Kids these days don't know what stamps are or care. I was part of the last generation collecting the hobby, and too many comic books reliving the 90s. I think back in the 90s, everything was just overprinted. That's the issue. Everybody was trying to buy all the first appearances, all the new books, thinking it was going to get them rich, but there were so many copies printed that it was never going to happen. Now is not that time. Things aren't overprinted. The variant covers, I don't think, are killing the market. They're giving people out there who collect that something else to collect, something else to pay up for. I hate to say it, but that's it. I don't do modern books because I don't want to spend money on that stuff. I want to spend money on stuff that I had growing up, just like you. Stamps. My dad was a huge coin collector, stamp collector, stuff like that. So it's, I'm not into it, but at the same time, it's part of you. So that's the whole point. Okay, I'm a giant DC Comics fan. I like Marvel too, don't get me wrong, but especially Batman. My next book I want to grab is Tech 359. So, first appearance of Barbara Gordon as the new Batgirl. So, yes, I love that book. If I'd say undervalued book like some of the other Marvel keys as well. Another book I keep my eye on. I've owned that book multiple times in the past. I do not own a copy right now. It's a Silver Age book, I believe, or is it bronze? I think it's silver. It's silver. I love the book. I would try to get a mid-grade. I don't need to go out and get a 9.0 copy of that book right now, 100%. So here we go. It's two-part. The 2.0 to 3.5. I definitely wouldn't go 2.0, okay? Definitely not. I don't think that's worth it, a 2.0. I think that's too low. But I think a 4.0 and higher is your best bet because I think 3.5 is okay too. Don't get me wrong. Get whatever you can afford. I'm going to get you some pricing. Give me a second. And I'm going to give you pricing for a 3.5 and a 4.0 because that's where I think the sweet spot is for this book. I think 2.0 is low. So 3.5 this month, $496, which I don't think that is that bad. The 90-day was $514 and the 12-month $561. 2021 it was $612. So you lost 100%, which is $100, which is 20%. That's not too bad. For a 4.0, $522. So you were talking about $50 difference between a 3.5 and a 4.0. I don't think that's too bad. When you get to a 5.0, it jumps up to $800. So right now that tells me that 5.0 might be worth it. The 4.5 is $610. So I think the 5.0 is a little bit overpriced at $800, but in 2021 is $1,047. So I would say anywhere from a 4.0 to a 6.0 is your sweet spot. I would probably stay around a 4.0 to 5.0. I would like that, but if it has to be a 3.5, it's a 3.5. That's fine. Jerry P. What DC books, if any, deserve to be in the top 10 Silver Age keys? Usually there's only 1 or 2. My choice is Showcase 4, but the same they're most 2 from what I've seen. Showcase 4, it's ultra rare. If you guys didn't watch my comic book hierarchy video, Outside of AF-15, that is probably the next Silver Age book that's like a big investment book because there's so few of them, man. There are none out there. Even complete, there's even less. If that Flash movie is as good as everybody said it is, that book could go up. I mean, it hasn't gone up much. It hasn't moved. The price hasn't moved. That's the only thing. But yes, Showcase 4. Showcase 22 is another DC one that hasn't gone up a lot, but has gone up. That's a different one. Detective 359. What is the origin of Joker? Detective 170 something. I forget the number always on that book. But the first origin of the Joker, 168, I think it is, with the Red Hood. That's a book it's worth a ton of money. Silver Age book. I can't give you a top 10 on Silver Age keys. Batman 121, first Mr. Freeze is a Silver Age book. Poison Ivy 181 is a complete. You got to buy that book with the pinup. Is another book I want to own. I'm forgetting one. Another Silver Age book. Batman one. I forgot, but those are a bunch of Silver Age DC keys I want to own. But probably in that order: Showcase 4, Showcase 22. DC Silver Age wasn't that great. I mean, there's a couple of the stories I'm talking about. There's a couple good first appearances, which I mentioned, but after that, story-wise, where the Batman was a little weird. Butch is the man. There you go. Yo, yo, yo. There you go. Again, there's some guys who love him, so I'm not going to say like he's bad, but keep in mind he is a collectible investment channel, not really a comic book channel. And I'm not saying he's wrong either. I never said that he's wrong. It's just if I'm going to watch someone on YouTube, I got to be entertained. If I'm not entertained, then I'm not going to watch it. But I do know who he is. It's tough. I mean, that's the whole point of buying rarity, and I think that's what he has. That's what he says is it's rarity is always going to command more money, but you have to care about the rarity. That's why when I talk about pre-code horror, it's a niche that some people want to own, and the artwork is the reason to own it, right? And because of the grotesque nature of it, before the Comics Code Authority. We even had a Crime Suspense Stories 19, which was on the Hot 10 this week. That started that whole Comics Code Authority. It's for niche collectors, and they are worth money. And right now, it's hot. Thank you so much, Bartoponymous, man. I appreciate that. Yes, you just missed that. I played a little video for the Batman one. I won't play it again because the audio was way too loud. I did. I mean, that's what I did, right? I took that 13 books and cash, and I packaged it for that book. Now, I just found out over this past weekend, yesterday, that somebody else was bidding against me for that book. I'm not going to say it was, but someone else was after it, and the seller decided to go with me because I had a cash and trade offer, so that was helpful. So cash is king, guys. I know sometimes it's hard, but that's what I always say. Like, if you're gonna buy books, if you buy the books that have value at the right time, you're better off when you're trading books, because even though you still, in this case, I put some cash in, like, you have to buy something that's desired by other people, not just yourself. You have to desire it, but if it's desirable to others, you're better off picking up bigger books that way. It's the first Silver Age Green Lantern. Yes, it's still number 2 on the Silver Age DC though list. You have a 4.0 Showcase 22. That's a great grade for that book, man. Every time I see that book, it's always like a 2.5 or lower. Anytime, Candace, but no problem. Yeah, $500 I think for mid grade is right where you want to be for that one. 100%. Again, a nice DC key. Nobody really talks about. If that Batgirl movie didn't get canned, the book would have probably went lower because I heard the movie was terrible. So if that movie came out, the book would have went lower. So good for the book that it didn't come out, unless you're looking to buy one that you probably want it to go up. But hopefully they fix that and they correct it. So, we're going to hang on for 10 more minutes, and at 2:30, I'm going to go. There'll be even 2 hours. So again, for anybody that hasn't ask any questions. You got about 11 minutes, and then we're going to jump off. I'll recap a little. This week, tomorrow, I'm having another eBay comic sold video. So all new 6 books that I picked that were sold last week that has some great prices. If you're interested, check it out. It drops tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern. Tuesday, I have a bunch of unboxings. A lot of stuff. I got a CGC shipment that returned and some stuff that I bought off of an IG live sale recently. So I can't wait to share you that with you guys. And of course, Thursday, we break it down. The Hot 10 Comics of the Week is coming like it does every week. So going to be at Garden State Comic Fest, June 24th and 25th, with a whole slew of comic books for sale. Okay. I am selling some of my slabs that I have doubles of. I want to try to get some cash going so I could try to hopefully get another big book. Probably not as big as the Batman one, but something that I've been trying to get for a while. So it's great deals on some Silver Age, Spider-Man, X-Men, stuff like that. Flash fact: my only 2 slabs are Hell of Risen 3 and Batman Adventures 12. If one I snag Tech 359, my only slabs will be DC female characters, which is oddly cool for a women's month. Yes, Candace, are you a female? Not that it matters, but is that the reason why you collect, or just because you like those characters? I actually, on the Hot 10 this week, there was the Harley Quinn first, Harley Quinn #1, that black cover with the Joker. I actually love that book. I know a lot of people like Batman Adventures 12 for her first appearance, but that black cover, man, in a 9.8, that sings to me. I love that book. So I gave it a thumbs up if anybody's interested in buying that book. Only in a 9.8, but definitely want to own that one. It's her first in the DC continuity. Definitely one I love. I did a room tour not too long ago, maybe like, it's probably been a couple of years now, but I will do one if you want another one. Someone asked me also to do a top 20 comics in my collection, which I'll do that now as well, considering, half my books are gone that I sold, I traded. So I'll do a room tour. This room is really small, so there's not much to it outside of, what you see behind me and some arcade games and stuff. But there's always like a raw wall here which you guys never see. I'll show you that. And then I have a whole Masters of the Universe Origin collection that I will show you guys as well. But I'll do that soon. It's just a small room, so it'd be a short video. But definitely cool. I'm waiting on some statues to come in that I pre-ordered. So I don't even know when the hell that's going to show up. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, the modern stuff, you got to get in a 9.8, man. That's how it goes. In my opinion, that's me. If you're going to collect modern, it's got to be in 9.8. Totally think that's worth it. As long as you're not overpaying for stuff, like, you're fine. That's what I think most collectors who collect modern, that's what they want. So I think you'll always have a market if they're 9.8s. And that's, that's what it is. So also, we recap Jared Smith. I'm going to say it again, bro. You are the winner of the Thanos giveaway. People are tired of hearing it. They don't want to hear about the Thanos giveaway anymore. So claim your prize. Email me. The contact is in the description of every video. And now give me your address and I will send this thing out to you as soon as possible. Or you could DM me on Instagram, mightycomics_collectibles. You are the winner. So yeah, I collect arcade one-ups. I don't. It's not so much collect. I have a few of my favorite games that I enjoyed playing as a kid, and I have some arcade videos up on the channel. Like I modded a bunch of machines. So if you're interested in knowing how to mod a machine, an arcade one-up, I've done a few. So keep that in mind. I also have a build straight from scratch on an arcade. If you're interested in that, it's up there as well. But just some classic games. I got Street Fighter 2, the Big Blue. I have a straight up punch out machine with some classic NES games, vertical games that I built from scratch. Terminator 2, Ridge Racer, NFL Blitz, and I have an arcade cabinet. I have a pinball cabinet from Arcade Web, this Marvel Superheroes one, which is pretty cool. Yes, hopefully a few weeks. That's the key, right? Last I checked, we're at 4,200, so it's been a good week for subs, which is awesome. But hopefully we can get to 5,000 quick, so I could do that, and then it will be on to searching for the 6,000 subscriber giveaway. Hopefully, like, they get better and better each one. So got to find something for 6,000 that's going to knock your socks off. And then, like I said before, for members of the channel, people who subscribe to the membership, you're going to be getting a membership giveaway just for members. So we'll do that as well soon too. Jerry, man, you're awesome, man. I love you guys. Just when I hear comments like that, what am I going to do the rest of my day? It makes my day because I love doing this. I put a lot of work into it. I hope you guys realize that. Just, just research for the pricing and trying to make it look nice for you guys, and then entertaining. That's what it's supposed to be. Information, entertainment. I think that's what any type of YouTube show should be, or any type of show. They want to entertain, but you also want to learn something. And if it's about something that you love, like comics or comic characters, even if you talk MCU movies or DC movies, it's entertainment. And that's what this is about. I tell you what, if I get to 1 million, you heard it here first. I will give away the Batman 1. How about that? How about that? If we get to 1 million subs, I'll give away the Batman 1. I'll probably be dead before we do it, but that's fine. I don't think I'll ever get to 1 million. So that's why I'm confident I'm saying that we'll give away the Batman 1. You got it, though. If 1 million subs, I'd probably be making that much money in a year off YouTube if that happened. So I would 100% be on board with that. Thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate that, man. What do you mean? I'm not sure if I follow, Valerie. Don't want the book. Are you planning to sell it anytime soon? Are we talking about what are we talking about? Oh, it's Iron Man 1. No, somebody's going to get that. Somebody's going to want that. Some people already commented here that they want it. So I could do, I'll run the giveaway, see who the winner is. And if they don't get claimed, we'll go to the second person. And if the second person doesn't do it and I jump on a giveaway, I'll jump on a live stream and put all the people who are in the live stream names in there. And then I'll pick one off the live stream. This way you see it and it's yours, because that means, number one, that the people that the books are going to are not watching the videos, because they say it multiple times, like every video, like, hey, you won this, come claim it. Or, hey, so if you're not watching the videos, I don't know if you should really be getting it anyway, but I give you the chance, because it's a random drawing, right? So if Jared Smith has till next Saturday to claim his book, if not, to claim the Thanos, if not, I'm going to go live. I'm going to pick someone from the chat and I'm going to give it to him. That's how it's going to roll. My kids love following the channel. Appreciate you responding to the questions on live chats. They go nuts for it. Anytime, man. That's, I got kids too, so I know how it goes. And I'm glad they like comics, because that's a big thing. Like, I think nowadays, I only really go to 1 or 2 shops now, but I always see kids at Zap Comics in Wayne. Every time I go there, there's kids there, and it makes me happy. Mine go there. One goes there for sports cars. The other one goes there for comics and toys. So it doesn't get better than that. So especially Zap. If you guys live in the area and you haven't been to Zap, you're freaking missing out, because they always have good wall books. They always have good back issues. They always have good new books, and they're friendly as hell. So, and that's the trifecta for me. So, what's funny? I have, I should say, a hoodie for myself. I never had it printed for anybody else. I have right now for everybody. I just have t-shirts, and the $20 really helps support this channel. If you guys do it with shipping, it's 28. Or if you want to reach out on Instagram, you don't have to do it through the website. It's mightycollects.com is the website. If not, you want to DM me on Instagram, Mighty Comics _collectibles. If you just DM me through there and you want one, I could sell it to you probably cheaper there. But at least with shipping, I could sell it to you cheaper there. $20 is $20, But that's it. If we sell out the shirts and you guys want stuff, I will get stuff made 100%. Like, I have 2 shirts that nobody's ever seen for sale. It's those 2 things that I showed you before. Friends don't let friends overpay for second appearances. I have that on a shirt, and I have Show Me the Money book on a shirt right now. But I have a hoodie with my face on it, so for the channel. But I only printed that for me, and I didn't think anybody would want it. But if we sell those shirts out or come close to it, I will do something. I'll put a poll up. How's that? I'll put a couple of different designs up, and we'll do a poll. If anybody wants to buy it, I'll get a couple of things made, and we'll do it. But only limited, because that's what makes it special, to have a limited thing for it. So we'll do that if anybody wants. But got to sell out this stuff first. The hats and the shirts. The hats are awesome. I don't know how I have so many hats left, because they fit really well and they're really comfortable. I get red is not everybody's choice, but I think red pops. I always thought red pops, especially you can wear it with anything. Black, red, white, gray, you see, it just pops. So I love it. And we do in Morristown when I'm there. When we go to the show, I'll have them there for sale as well. Probably cheaper because there's no shipping, but it's only $8 shipping anyway. So I just sent out a couple of weeks ago, silver and gold, and the turnaround time is like 2 weeks, in my opinion. It all depends. The golden age took a little bit longer, but I also know why, because when you see it come back, there's a little bit of an issue with it, and I don't want to discuss it here right now. But when they get the book back and we talk about it, that's why I don't know too much. I know some stuff about the golden age, but I don't know everything on that. I can give you a lot of information on silver and bronze and copper, 100%, but gold is still a little bit out of my element. But it's a teaching lesson for when I get that book back, but they're still running 2 to 3 weeks. So you should have it in your hand, which I think is awesome for now. And lately, I haven't had an issue with CGC grading or something messed up in a long time. I know other people have, but it seems like they've gotten a lot of the stuff that was causing an issue fixed. Some people still have a problem with the grades, but I think that really has to do with a lot of the modern stuff, with grading and stuff like that, which I don't really do, so it doesn't really matter to me. But I've had pretty good experience with the CGC over the past 5 to 10 years. So I gave away a bunch of Diamond Select Toys statues on the channel over the past year. So the people at Diamond Select Toys were lucky enough. Well, I was lucky enough for them to send me 5 dioramas to give away here on the channel at no cost to me. Promoted it, gave those away to members of the channel. We did a member giveaway for one of them, and we did a regular giveaway for everybody else. Are they investments? No, 100% not. But they're awesome, especially for like a lot of them are $60. You can't get better for to me, like a 10 to 12 inch statue that's like this for $60. And the detail on some of them are phenomenal, but they're not investments. I pre-ordered one that just got shipped, a new one that's not out yet. So I will break it down for you on a channel when it comes in. But a new character from Diamond Select Toys, I pre-ordered. It's on its way to me. I can't wait to show you guys. It's awesome. So, all right, guys, it's 2:30. I want to thank everybody out there for joining me for this Sunday live stream. If you guys are into this and I don't have anything going on, I'll make it like a regular thing on Sundays to come here and chat for an hour and a half, answer questions, talk about what's going on with the channel for the upcoming week, and so on and so forth, and just have a chance to talk with everybody out there in the community, because that's what I like to do. So again, I'll reiterate, this week, tomorrow, fresh eBay sales from last week, 6 new books I'm going to go over, show you pricing data over the past 3 years. Check it out tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern time. Tuesday, we're breaking down some unboxings. I have a CGC unboxing back from CGC and a bunch of stuff that I got from Instagram live sales over the past couple of weeks. Some awesome shit and some awesome deals. Look forward to it because it gets some really good stuff. And then Thursday, like always, we break down the Hot 10 comics of the week. Last week's Hot 10 breakdown was awesome. Some great Silver Age keys were on there. Some new modern stuff as well. So some old stuff too. A Mega Man back at the fucking top spot, or maybe I was at the 2 spot this week. I don't know. It's ridiculous because when you see my eBay video tomorrow, spoiler, it's on there because I wanted to go over something with you guys to show you. It should not be a hot book, and illustrate that tomorrow. So make sure you're checking in. All right. So that's next week. Morristown, June 24th and 25th. I will be at Garden State Comic Fest. This Saturday, I will be at King Con 4 filming, saying hello to everybody in the community who lives in my area who will be there. I can't wait. Going to be a blast. So again, like always, guys, thank you for jumping on with me. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.